Hello, everyone. Welcome to Food Facts Decoded, where myths are busted and facts are served. I'm Sheryl Salis, your host and host. I am a registered dietitian, certified diabetes educator, the founder of Nurture Health Solutions, and the co founder of Campaign Against Nutrition Quacks and Courses. Today, we're going to be discussing about traditional food wisdom. Before apps and fad diets, there was Grandma's Kitchen, where food was seasonal, local, and balanced. Ghee wasn't feared, it was healing. Fermented foods were daily gut allies. Spices weren't just flavor, they were medicine. Fasting was natural, it wasn't a fashion statement. Modern science is just catching up what tradition always knew. Food is nourishment, not just numbers. To honor our roots while embracing evidence, we have a renowned personality with us today to discuss this very interesting topic. And we have none other than Dr. Prabodh Halde. Dr. Prabodh Halde wears many hats. He's a corporate leader, change maker, LinkedIn top voice, and above all, he is the son of the soil. He's a true son of the soil. He's the chairman of Chamber for Small and Medium Business, All India Food Processing Association, past president of AFST India, CFTRI Mysore. He has mentored over thousands of students and startups. He's the voice of food technologists in India and a mentor and a guide for many. He's a very dear friend and also a mentor. So, hello, Dr. Prabodh. It's so lovely to have you on Food Facts Decoded. And I can't tell you what an honor and a pleasure it is to have you on the show. And thank you so much for removing time from your busy schedule. I know how hard it is for you, but you still took out time to discuss a very important topic, I think, which both of us are very passionate about, which is traditional food wisdom. And like I was just saying in my introduction, I think we've started fearing food suddenly. I think with the modern apps and so many food influencers, so to say, or self-proclaimed experts, so many fad diets, and everybody is now having this fear for food. There is like a food psychosis that has come in. So I think that's why I thought it was important for us to actually discuss about ancient food wisdom, and there's so much science behind it. So thank you so much once again, and let's get started.
Surely. Thank you. I'm also excited, Cheryl.
Okay, so
Thank you
I
for
think my
calling.
first question to you is why is traditional food culture still important in today's modern world? Because everybody, I think in the West is really looking at our own Indian food, foods and traditional foods, while we are really not paying so much attention to it. So why do you think it is so important in today's modern world?
I will tell you a story. Actually, earlier also, when I was a child, I used to consider food is only for living. And when we got matured, when we understood something, and then I realized the importance of the food, what my granny, my nani used to tell me, have a food, but sit quietly and then pray for the food, pray before the food, and then eat. So I will tell you why the food culture is becoming important and why it is important. So, if you see the history of mankind, and today we have actually traced back our history of 10,000, 20,000 years. And you're also have traveled so many countries, Cheryl. But when we go to the hotels, what food we see in the morning breakfast or in the lunchtime? Many of the foods which we eat outside in the different countries, they are not original of their own food. They are migrated, or we have adopted the Western food in many of the countries. There are exceptions for the two countries, namely China and India. You go to India, now the five-star hotel also started actually giving a cutting chai in the five-star hotel, which is a local food or local resembles. The food culture is so important. And I personally believe that the civil culture of any society, any country, has a strong linkage with the food culture.
Right,
What I want to put a theory, China and India have maintained their civil culture intact, our Indian culture. I'm not talking about any religion, I'm talking about the Indianness because of the food culture. Our ancestors, they didn't allow any foreign culture to enter into the kitchen, thanks God. That's why we maintain our purity of our food culture, and after eating that food, we also become a part of that culture. Like example, you go to South India, and if you don't eat idli and dosa, then you are missing something. If somebody is coming to Mumbai and if they are not eating vada pav, if they are not eating misal, then they are missing something. So
Correct.
food culture is very important. But if we delete all these traditional food and adopt the foreign food, our culture we will miss out permanently, which has happened with the many of the countries. Latin America, American culture, original. Where are the red Indians today? They are not there. Go to Brazil, South America, their culture is lost. Go to Middle East, their culture is lost. Go to Malaysia, they have adopted the noodles, which is not their food. So the theory is that food culture is the most important aspect of your overall culture. Yes, clothing is also one of the aspect. The language is also one of the aspect. But I am now only focusing. Food is a most important culture, and we need to retain, we need to present, and we need to retrieve scientifically, and we need to respect that. Again, I'm not bringing any religious belief, because to me religions are also the part of the culture.
Absolutely.
So absolutely no, for that matter, it is all about the culture of the food, what that area brings, and we should be having that respect to that culture, and that's
Correct.
why it's so important
I
that
think
to
very
maintain
well
it.
said, because today, honestly, even when we are talking about whether it's gut health and, so many other medical conditions, and, when we tell people to go back to those foods that they've eaten when they were children, that just brings a smile on their face, a lot of joy in their heart, because they feel that those foods are actually to be forbidden and, not to be eaten. And then when we tell them that, yes, you can eat it, I mean, they just feel so happy because it just takes them back to their childhood days, to their time spent with their grandparents and parents. And, that is another very, very crucial aspect that you brought about, So this brings me to my next question, that it is often said that Indian food culture is based on science. Can you share some examples to support this?
This is also a very interesting question and very smart question what you have asked. Actually, the food and our culture, our ancestor, what they have put the system, maybe they were not knowing
Correct.
the reason behind it. Many of them may not be knowing, but few of them were knowing. But that time, the whole system was that if you tell the reason, people will not accept that. So you have to put in a system form. They have to put those into the form of system, the procedure, or as a conduct. And every culture, again, I'm talking about every religion has put some beautifully, some conduct automatically has some scientific ways. You take Ramzan, we just in Muslims, why that particular fasting is actually put it forcefully. It is all about fasting, and you being a nutritionist, you know the importance of fasting. Why it is required that 12 hours of fasting? Because to kill the bad growth, whatever is the inside, and it also enhances your immunity, and so many examples and so many benefits. Navratri 9 days when you fast, why it's required? Look at all the religion, even the
We
past.
ourselves
See,
in Christianity have the Lenten fast. I think
absolutely.
every religion has a fast. And
So
today it's
fast.
become fashionable. Today it's become intermittent fasting and so many other types of fasting that have come in. And I think, like what you said, our grandparents or grandmothers did not study nutrition science, but the way they applied it to our food, whether it's north, south, east, west, central India, I think each region has so much of nutrition science in each of their traditional recipes.
Amazing. So one more example. I will use the example of khichdi.
Correct.
So now when you know the khichdi is the complete food and khichdi is the staple food of India, that is one aspect of the taste part. And khichdi can be made with the basically grains. One is the pulse, one is the rice. But it can be made with many pulses, whatever is the pulse is available. But moong is one thing which is very nutritious. But when I study in the food technology point of view, all the like if I put all the amino acids when what brings from the rice and what brings from the dal, basically the rice is low in lysine, same way dal is low is in methionine. So when you combine, it become a complete protein chain, all amino acid together. and it gives you the protein quality index of 0.96, which is close to 1, which is like egg, what is the gold standard.
Right.
And khichdi is so good in digestion, so good in taste, and there is no allergen. You know, egg has so much of allergen. Khichdi is no allergen. Here is allergen free food. And khichdi is the one which you always propagate. If you are not well, eat khichdi.
Right.
And that's the whole, through the food science, I can decode that why they have chosen to basically two grains to combine.
Yeah.
In Maharashtra, now the Dashara would be coming and all the festive season will be starting. Puran Poli. Again in the Puran Poli, the chana dal, and then jaggery. And upar se you add some good ghee. Again, it reduces your whole glycemic index. It may not be low, but it will be in the moderate somewhere in, I don't
Right.
know the who have studied it, but it would be in 50s. Okay to have it rather than having something high glycemic in this food like pastries and all that will increase your
Absolutely.
peak so
And
fast.
instead of using maida, you use whole wheat flour, and it becomes a very healthy food. And have it in moderation. I think that's the best.
Always.
So, a lot of people, because we are nutritionists, and they would actually show healthier versions of making a puran poli, and you use a sweetener or use this. I say eat the real thing, eat it with a lot of happiness, joy, and have gratitude for that food, and eat it in moderation. I think this whole thing about making it, putting this and putting that, and as they call it, healthifying it, I don't think we really need to do that. It's already a very healthy food. You just need to eat it in moderation and
You
enjoy
know,
it.
actually, again, I will try to give it one example. We have a democracy, we have a democratic values. You can experiment many things. One can experiment with the life and one can experiment with the food. But fortunately, our ancestors have experimented and given you something. Try that also. Why to do something which is not like, which is already there for thousands of years? It will work, and not for the reason because it is native to you. Now, the studies have shown, Cheryl, that the food which is known to you, because when you were in the mother's, when the where the baby and when you're inside the mother's womb, and then that time what mother used to eat, and probably whatever the age, 20 years back, 30 years back, 40 years back, 50 years back, that time what the food she has, that is the first actually interaction of the food and you,
True.
and that food is having a memory in you that okay, that food is my friend, and that you become a friend to the food, and that food will be the always loved and always accepted by your body. Your mother might not have eaten something today's food, so that's why the food which eaten by the mother then is the food which is your first choice, it's the first love, and that food you should respect and you should accept more, rather whatever the problems which are getting created and suddenly you find that I have an allergy, I have something. I think that is mostly, I don't know, that is also research area, and sure we should do something on this. Why people develop something allergy? Because of the forceful, like, actually putting some food unnecessary for a long time which is not accepted by your body, and body show that symptoms not today, maybe at tomorrow. I think
Right.
that is one area of concern.
I think when you speak about khichdi, I think khichdi is our comfort food. No matter which part of the world you go to and come, you want to come back to khichdi. And like you said, in moong is very easy to digest as well. So especially when you're
Even
sick
dal
or
chawal.
something, it's
You
the
are
best
traveling
thing
to
to have.
five-star hotels. If you get
True.
a garam garam dal
Oh
chawal
my
with the
God, that's
ghee,
the best
what
thing.
you require here? You don't require then any other food which is whatever
Correct.
is the taste and all. But
Like
dal
you said,
chawal.
this whole cereal pulse combination, it's so beautiful because even if you look at the NI and ICMR guidelines, they say to combine cereal and pulse in 3:1 to get the best quality protein. And if you look at whether it's any part of the country, whether it's north, south, east, west, we have so many examples. So we have the khichdi, we have simple varan bhat, then we have our puran poli, we have dal dhokli, we have dal bati, we have idli sambar, we have dosa sambar. I mean, so many things. And so I think we should again, embrace these foods and eat them with a lot of joy and happiness and eat them how they're supposed to be eaten. But very important is moderation. I keep focusing on that word because people forget that.
I agree with you. And those time the people were doing a lot of physical exercise.
Right,
Then there was no Netflix.
right,
Then there was no mobile. Then there was no laptop. So people used to do physical work. At home there were no maids. So ladies or gents, they used to do their own work. The water, fetching the water from the well itself is such a taxing work, and then they were having that diet. But today, if you are not doing anything and you're not using the gym or you're not doing running or walking, so 30 minutes of exercise, as you are also saying all in your lectures, I think that is a must. As you are taking a bath, as you are eating a food, I think exercise is must for you. Otherwise, you have to do the tableting. Then food
Even
become your
another
medicine.
simple thing, I'm sorry to interrupt, but Shatabali. This is something
Mm.
now there is evidence on it that walking 100 steps after food or walking for 10 minutes after your meals actually helps to improve your blood glucose control. And this is something that has been practiced for generations. I mean, our ancestors did it. And this is very simple for us to tell our patients. And now a lot of our patients and clients are doing it. So again, it is coming back from ancient wisdom,
And
right?
not only ancient and also the animal wisdom, I will add, Cheryl. If you observe, if you have a pet at home, and if pet is unwell, they don't eat anything. Human is something you want to, even if you are unwell, you go to doctor, you take a medicine and you eat only.
Correct.
Yet, if they're unwell, they just stop eating.
Yes.
Observe them carefully. A cat or dog, if
Dog.
they're
Yeah.
unwell, if their stomach is upset, they just take 24 hours fasting.
Right.
And our ancestor, our actual elders used to do this only. When if you are unwell, no food for one
Absolutely.
day. Just have a one relaxed day. And I think this is the, again, we need to find out the science behind it. We need to explain. See, that this generation is very smart. They are very fast, Gen Z. They are also acceptance of the rationals. I think we are not able to communicate to them in their language the rational and science behind the what we are discussing. I think if we
Absolutely.
can, then they will also accept.
I think you have to because that's what at least in our clinic we do. We actually tell people why are we giving a particular food and explain to them because then the compliance is better. They will adhere to it because just telling them to do it without giving them an understanding, I don't think will really serve the purpose. So I think let's
Absolutely.
go to our next question. We hear a lot about food references, whether it's Ramayana, Mahabharat, Bhagavad Gita, Jain literature. Can you throw some light on the connection between food and the ancient scriptures? I'm sure even in the Bible we have so many things, when you look at, and every religion has its own unique things when it comes to food. So what is the connection?
Every religion has the connection with the food, as you rightly said, in Bible also, in Quran also, because their whole system of halal and haram. Halal is good, haram is not good,
Right.
though it has political references, but actually there are the good ways of treating and bad ways of treating the food. So I will now talk about the Indianness, and that too, whatever the study which we did during our Sattvic certification and the Jain certification. So we did some study on the food cultures in different eras and what was our Indian culture of the food. So first, I would like to quote in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 17. Um just 17, chapter 17, and this is, I think, eight stanza. It says that Ayu Sattva Bala Rogyam Sukham Preeti Tavardhana Rasya Snigdha Sthira Vruddha Ahara Satvika Priya. You know, way back, I don't know what Bhagavad Gita might have been, some 10,000, 20,000, but that time the Bhagwan says that how the food should be, the sattvic food, which gives you the strength, which gives you the life, which gives you the increase the love between the two people, and also the you feel happy about the each other. So these are the quality of the food which gives you that. It never said veg or non-veg. That is our description. But it says that the food which gives you life, long life, omega 3 maybe, strength, maybe a protein, increases the love between two people. And we talked about now dopamine increase, the chocolate brings you
Right.
that particular, so that increases the love between two and feel happy. So again, that dopamine enhancement.
Food elevating.
So mood elevating. So if you have those qualities in any food, it becomes a sattvic food. Nowhere Bhagwan has mentioned ever it has to be a veg or it has to be non-veg. Unnecessary. We are bringing those qualities ki nahi yahi hona chahiye. So I am not going into that fight, but what I'm saying, it started then in Bhagavad Gita. in Ramayana, we have seen so many references. Ma Sita was in the Vanvas, and she has given the recipes. That's why if you travel to the north, you will say Sita Rasoi, Sita Rasoi. It is not just because the Sita is the north or she is being a goddess, because Sita was the chef, and she has given so many recipes of in jungle how to cook without oil, how to cook with limited resources, and that is published. Even Mahabharata, there is one chapter in Mahabharata when Ballav, the Bhim, when he was in Agyatwas, in Virat kingdom, he was working as a chef. And then he has written a chapter in Mahabharata what food should be eaten by king and what food should be eaten by the soldiers and what kind of product they should be eaten. So that kind of scientific writing they have done in the food. King Nala Damayanti reference I am giving. He was the first food technologist. He has written a book called Nala Pakadarpan. 11 chapters. Amongst those 11 chapters, veg recipes, non-vegetarian recipes, how the food handler should have a GMP practices, how the kitchen should look like, what equipment should be used. All is given in that Nala Pakadarpan.
Is it available?
Categorization.
I'd love to read it.
Yes, Nalapaka Darpan for the audiences. Yes, it is available on 36 languages. On the Google, it is available.
Oh, excellent.
And Codex, food categorization system, I'm putting a record, has been inspired by Nalapaka Darpan. That is the second thing. They will not give credit to them as usual. But it is credited because that is 10,000 years back. And food categorization, which FSSA has also adopted, all the categories of the food, which is mentioned in the FSSA, inspired by the Codex. But Codex got a categories from where? There is a reference in the Nalapaka Darpan. Amazingly. So this is a science of the food, which is our culture. Same way the Christianity, same way in the, but we need to
Jainism, they never ate after
Jainism.
sunset. And today it's
Jainism
become
has,
IF, intermittent fasting. And people are debating about it, but honestly, it was always there because I think one is Jainism, but even if I like go back to my, early days and when I used to visit my village, there was no electricity after 7 o'clock. I mean, so people used to eat their dinner by 6:30 latest and go to bed by 8 because it was not like we had electricity and now Netflix and binging and eating at 3 o'clock. Today we have people eating two dinners. One at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, one again at around 2 o'clock. Why? Because I was watching Netflix, I was hungry.
I know. See, Cheryl, one more thing. Jainism, as you mentioned, or in Buddhism, where Sattvic Ahar was prominent, what they talked about, the way you work, then the food has to be like that. So today's nutritionist, if I come to you, you will ask what Prabodh, what you do whole day, what you do. You are in a sitting position
Right.
most of the time, 8 hours. Then you will give me a diet as per my physical
Absolutely.
what I do. If I'm a rickshaw puller, same diet will not be recommended by you.
At all.
Then there was a sattvic ahar, rajasic ahar, and tamasic ahar. No ahar, the food is bad food. We say that tamasic is bad. Tamasic is not bad. The people who required to tamasic has to be taken tamasic. So it was again based on the strong nutritional aspect, these three qualities. But finally, the people who are intellectual and who are only doing a sitting job, you have to then sattvic ahar. You are not supposed to take tamasic because tamasic will unnecessarily increase your like it is not required because that is with flesh and other things which more taste. But if you are doing exercise, if you are doing something like a rigorous physical work in your, that tamasik is also good for you because that is the food for you then. So here there is no mention of that you should not eat this, you should not eat this. Yes, there is a mention. Finally, you have to migrate towards the sattvic. That is a journey,
Right.
and always there is a start. And today also, when you see in the nutrition, what you allow for few people, you don't allow for some other people. But
Correct.
finally, we have to eat the good food. What is good to my
Absolutely.
body? And one more thing, it is not about the food, and do the mistake of qualifying the food with the nutrition what is present in the food. So Cheryl, I always say that the nutritionist, and not all nutritionists understand 360-degree holistic food. They only measure the calories in the food outside the body, but what it goes inside and how it perform, that is more important.
True.
And that thought is in the traditional wisdom. Today many of the nutritionists I know, they talk about the holistic part of the food, but most of the people read the theory of the food. It contains protein, it contains fiber. It is not a medicine, Baba. It goes inside and it act. Food is food. It goes into the chewing cycle, it goes into the digestion, it goes into the multiple digestion, carb, then protein, then fat. So it is not to say that what food is good outside is necessarily good for me.
Absolutely. And I think each one of us gets, that thing that what is really working for me and what is not. I always feel that you should also trust your gut instinct sometimes.
Gut is the
It is, yeah, it
absolutely,
is the big boss today. Even
yeah.
milk, there's so much about milk. Honestly, I think everybody's opinions are divided when it comes to milk. And suddenly there's so much of fear about milk that no, and especially when we see a lot of, uh, children with diabetes or people with diabetes, the first thing that they would have eliminated from their diet is milk. So, what are your thoughts on it? I just want maybe a couple of
On the
sentences on
milk,
this. Yeah.
okay, to me, so there are two kind of very, very extreme thoughts, because I also participated in vegan conference and they come with a very strong thought
Yeah.
that milk is not for you. And then there is one regime which says that milk is everything. Milk is the best. And because Krishna Bhagwan has actually started eating meat, milk, and then milk is very good. To me, one should understand your own body
True.
and what optimum requirement if it is coming from the milk. Why milk is good? I'm telling you why. Because from childhood you are used to having a milk and milk product in form of dahi, in form of butter, in form of ghee, in form of liquid milk. Now which is known to me over so many years, it is a friend to me. So naturally it is the first thing which is good for me and it will should work, but again in the optimum quantity, not the big quantity.
Absolutely.
Absolutely important. And also the milk source is important, because if you do not boil the milk properly, if you take the milk, because some people in my colony only at Hirandani, some people said we have stopped taking the pasteurized milk. Now we are going to Tabela and getting it. I
Yeah.
said, boss, you are getting A2 milk from Tabela, but do you know what that kind of, are they washed properly? The microbes load, which, see, quality of the nutrition might be very high with the quality of the microbes.
True.
So
Yeah.
what
Quantity of microbes.
quantity of the mic, not quality of the quantity of
Yeah.
the microbes. If you don't boil properly, some of the microbes are heat resistance up to 122 degrees Celsius. Your
Right.
boiling point is at 90, 98, 100 degrees Celsius. How you will kill those, which is happening in the machine? So it is always a subjective. And to me, sadism
Absolutely.
is bad.
But is there any truth in that there is hormones in the milk and steroids in the milk? Is there any truth in that statement that we often hear?
There is some truth. Unfortunately, like in any industry, there are some bad elements in any industry. 3% of the people, by like statistics, will be bad in any profession, be it the Bollywood, be it the banker, be it the industry, be it whatever. So these 3% people, those who want to do make money fast, so they will put some hormonal injections to their, and then that's why there are, yes, there are some instances, but certainly not what we have been told ki urea milake 60% milk is urea. That is absolutely wrong.
That's
Let me tell you, that is wrong, because the milk has actually, the quantity of the milk has increased the production after the independence, thanks to the white revolution. But there might be some kind of hormonal, yes, might be. I mean, I cannot say no, but on the urea and all, the people say so easily that 60% milk is
yeah,
urea. No, no, that is not correct. And
absolutely.
that is not possible also, because the milk production has increased. And
Right.
there are the good breeds, and then there are the systematic, now there are the dairies which are actually have increased the production. It's like
Right.
Operation Green, Operation White, which has actually yielded the good quantity of the milk.
So I think it's more about the source from where you're getting it from. So we should actually know and buy it
If you
from
cook it properly, if you,
where is it going to
most
enter
of the
the body.
things, people do ask me if there is a pesticide in the vegetable,
I
how?
think
So
that's a
washing,
very common
cleaning,
question that I get. I think if you can answer that, it'll be really great because every conference I go, in fact, they ask me that you always say about eating fresh, seasonal, local fruits and vegetables, but then there's so much pesticides and how can you advise them to eat so much? And I'm like, you have to. I mean, there are ways to. So, what is the ways to actually remove pesticides from food, or even to know that there are pesticides added to,
Okay,
the
so
crops,
there is no
etc.?
any litmus test for the pesticide because pesticides load we measure in ppb
Right,
and ppm, part per billion and part per million. What is a billion? Billion is 100 crore, million is 10 lakhs. So now tell me how to check that with the litmus test. There is no litmus test. Pesticides are pesticides. They will be there at the some part of the because it is not about only pesticide. One more enemy of the vegetables and fruits is also heavy metals because the way it is growing and it comes in the contact with the soil. So the heavy metal also can be a part of the carrier along with this. So the best part about the clean washing, and also the microbes are also the carrier in the
true.
along with the vegetables, because the live microbes, you can see some microbes are live and some are the carrier through the water, because water is a good carrier of the
Right,
bacteria, the bad bacteria, coliform and staphylococcus, all those bad bacteria can be coming. But the good part is that most of the washing, the hot water washing or continual rinsing, it has been shown that 60 to 90% of the pesticides and all these elements goes away. Then the way we eat, we don't eat raw all the time.
right,
We eat most of the vegetable in cooked form. And the good part about our vegetable, we do the sorting. All our fruits comes with the peel. So there is no pesticide which has a power to penetrate inside. So
right.
most of the fruits which comes with the peel, if you open it and take fresh, then there is no chances of pesticide coming
Absolutely.
inside.
And wash it well. What about vinegar or salt? Or nowadays you have these veggie washes available.
I would say, I don't want to see. There is a 60% to 80% that go maybe a 90%. It's up to your pocket if you
Right.
want to do that. Even that simple hot water also will give up to 80% protection.
Then that's good.
And then salad, I would only say that whenever you're eating salad, have actually that freshly prepared salad. But if it has a 4 hours and above, even if you keep it in the refrigerator, then it will have a chances of growing microbes. Again, pesticide
Absolutely.
or heavy metals is not a problem. And finally, we also have immunity here. It is not, our body is not like a westernized body where our pancreas is not having that kind of
Yeah, we have a
digestive
lot
power,
of immunity.
and we secrete the what is the pH of my gut. Actually, the pH is something around 3.5, which is such a acidic, it will get sab gal jata hai. But you should not taste that आप you can digest means so keep giving the garbage. No, you have immunity, so you will not get disturbed all the time. But the quantity of the salad, if it is a fresh, again I'm saying, like cucumber, you peel na baba, and then you cut it. So if it is a fresh, absolutely not, up to 4 hours at the room temperature, no problem.
I think you touched a very important point. We're seeing so many people with H. pylori infections, and when we ask them, they always order salads outside. It's fashionable now. You go outside, you want to eat healthy, you'll order a salad, and I tell them that's the worst thing to do because really that is where all the microbes and the H. pylori etc. is coming in. So I always tell them when you go out, have cooked vegetables. It's the safest, whether it's stir fried or whether it's sautéed or just a normal cooked vegetable. That is the best. And even in the night, I think slightly cooked is more easy to digest than raw, is what we have noticed.
But I also order salads whenever I go and really it tastes well. But if it is a freshly prepared and if it is,
Absolutely.
we
But
know that the source is good,
you have to
then
trust the
that
person, right, who's
you have
telling
to
you that
trust
it's
the,
fresh.
and that's why that's why nowadays the startups also are believing in the safety, food safety. The
Yeah,
food culture has come. The FSS is emphasizing Schedule 4. I think these are the positive things. And the new people, those who are joining the business, they're also educated. They know that at the risk of the, because they might be eating there. No? So slowly the change is happening, but we should understand the science behind it, and we should not become like a blind to anything.
that's very
Even
true.
to our podcast also, the people should not become blind. You search, but not over search. Do not do
Absolutely.
something like beyond which is impractical.
Yeah, I think now that takes me to my next question. I think we should start from, there's so much emphasis on that first 1,000 days of life. And I think that's such a beautiful thing, that we are now focusing on because it's right from the womb, you know. right from the time the mother gets pregnant, like you said, what the child is exposed to in the womb. And that will take them through, the entire journey of life till their tomb. And I think what is, according to you, is important in terms of when it comes to nutrition in the first 1,000 days of life?
So let me tell you, I'm not a nutritionist. Absolutely, I
Yeah.
don't have any knowledge. Education wise, only there were
Yeah,
two
but food
subjects which
habits,
were
we're talking about food
no.
habits.
Yeah, so that's why first I want to put a disclaimer.
I
So
really like
when
that you're doing that. That is
no,
so
no, it is
lovely.
very important because when I am not, I should not show that. But
But I'll tell
yes,
you something, a nutritionist along with a food technologist, I think it's a great combination and we should maximize on this. And that is why the whole endeavor, I think we've been discussing to do this for
yes,
the longest time because, people should get to know from the right people. Unfortunately, we are so busy and we don't get the time to reach out. And these so-called influencers go and give out a lot of garbage. So I think that is where the need for a combination of a nutritionist with a food technologist. So,
I believe to call as a food technologist, 4 year degree course is mandated. For me, I've done my PhD, which is like 4 plus 2 plus 4. So at least the person who has spent 9 years in learning and then execution.
and you still
Then
are learning. I think every day
and
you learn.
then I can say I know little bit about food technology or I know fairly about food technology. But on the food nutrition, I respect that science. As a food technologist, we used to have a two subject of the food nutrition and food chemistry in the second year and third year. But again, I'm telling you, food nutrition to me is a very, very important science. And without food technology, the food nutrition 360 degree will not get completed. As you rightly said, we
Right.
required medicos also, we required a food scientist
Everybody.
also, everybody. But what I understood about the food in my 30 years of actually the exposure to the food, 100 days, 1,000 days, what actually has been saying. And all the old nutritionists, I still remember, I don't want to take name like Dr. Shastri or Subulakshmi ma'am. She used to emphasize 1,000 days, 1,000 days. So the breastfeeding program and all these things. So I will not touch to that nutrition aspect, but I will definitely tell you what is important is 1,000 days. And I have written very beautiful article and it must be available on the internet. Why what you like, why you like, means आपको जो अच्छा लगता है वो क्यों अच्छा लगता है, and that answer lies in 1,000 days. So my theory is that what I said, that what your mother ate during when you were in the womb, पर आप जब पेट में थे उस टाइम में उसने जो खाया, plus after coming out for 1,000 days whatever you have eaten, that become your friend. Those food become your friend, and those food which were not given in a good taste and those not given in the good atmosphere, psychologically you have developed the enemyship with that food and you don't like those food. Remember some of the subjects you don't like, answer is in those 1,000 days.
Right.
And why these 1,000 days are important, if you see na, हमारे again culture में there are 16 total ceremonies which one has to go through in the lifetime, and there is one food ceremony. When the baby feeding happens, first food, solid food given, it is given by bua. So and then that too in the golden spoon or the silver spoon, and what that, again a rice along with the dal
Right.
or
It's
uh,
called kimti. Kimti.
plenty. So why it is required? When I do research on this, when I do some again a food science aspect of this, your pancreas is such an important instrument in your body, which is still ain't keep secreting some kind of enzymes we call as a pancreatic juices.
Right.
For what? For digestion. एंड आप तो एक्चुअली डायबिटिक एक्सपर्ट हो, यू नो दैट पैनक्रियास कितना
I
इंपॉर्टेंट
play an
पावर है
important role.
इंसुलिन के लिए. along with insulin it is giving a protease enzyme, is giving for the carbohydrate all those enzymes which get secreted. but उसका जो AI है, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस नहीं, नेचुरल इंटेलिजेंस, उसको तो कोई सीक्रेट करने के लिए चाबी लगाना चाहिए. That is that 1,000 days food. Your mother keep giving you different taste, all the six taste. छोटा छोटा ऐसा, baby start actually vomiting, baby start something sometime diarrhea also, but she keep giving you feeding because वो आपका program कर रही है. Your pancreas is getting subjected to those kind of taste, then pancreas get activated to produce the enzymes to digest that food, and that's why your programming get happen. Such a beautiful way of doing in 1,000 days if you get exposed to all kind of food. During 1,000 days, your stomach become like a rock solid, and the whole
Absolutely.
life you do not get any indigestion problem. When I have a digestion problem today for some food, thanks to my 1,000 days, I might not have actually told my mother, I don't like this, don't give me this, and that become my weakness in future. So this
Absolutely.
1,000 days is so important here. If the child is having that kind of wisdom of listening to mother and accepting, otherwise I keep eating chocolate only, and then
I
the
keep
whole
telling
thing.
parents, and that's why we say, na, salt and sugar, jitna minimal, at least in the first year of life, we don't allow it at all. And there's a
No,
beautiful thing. That day,
I'm
actually, my
not
son
against.
was going to for his
That is
exam.
also,
Yeah,
I'm not against any food. Food is food, micro
right.
और मैक्रो. कोई भाई भाई में झगड़ा नहीं है. शुगर भी अच्छी है, सॉल्ट भी अच्छा है, सब अच्छा है, बट इन
Yeah,
क्वांटिटी.
in
इन
quantity.
क्वांटिटी. We
I was
should
just
know.
thinking that day. That's what I was telling you. I was giving him, he was going for his exams, and I remember as a child having curd and sugar, and it was considered to be the food when anybody goes for exam. And again, it brought back, that why is this curd and sugar? Do you know what is the reason about giving
So
curd with sugar before any exam or before an interview?
okay, nowadays, na, and I was talking to one of the, I actually during my travel, one of the bureaucrats, and he happened to be ambassador of one of the countries, and Indian ambassador in one of the countries. He said that whenever there is a diplomacy talk, their chef, their chef always give them food, which and one of the food is traditional food of that country and also Indian, which will calm down their thinking, and food has that kind of power to calm down your thought process, your why this sweetness and this curd and rice or
Curd
curd
and
and
sugar.
sugar gives you exact that combination which will calm down your neurologically, and the decisions which you will take will be a balanced decision as per your ability. It will not improve, but it will not disturb you. So it called as a sattvic food in the traditional language, but more on scientific. When you see such foods, maybe a chocolate might be doing that work. You never know, you need to do study, but such some foods gives you, if you take a actually what you cardiogram, no, not cardiogram, what you talk about mind, what is that called as, to map the mind and find out where you are at which level.
Mind
Probably this
mapping.
food gives you calmness. Yes, it is statistically proven, also scientifically proven, and that's why they have found out some foods gives you calmness and also induces some kind of hormones which are soothing to your body, maybe a dopamine. So that's the reason, and it is a proven for 1,000 years. For going to exam, take dahi and shakkar, kha ko jao.
Exactly. I was thinking it has something to do with the gut as well, because
Yes.
maybe the curd has got,
Because the gut
yeah,
only gives you the power of actually influencing on your hormones, which are positive hormones for your
correct.
happiness. So that gut is the only responsible.
And then the gut brain axis, and
Yes, and that gut, I am requesting all the mother and to be mother in future. During your 9 months, it is not about you, it is about your baby, about your future, and including husband. Please take care of your food habits. See, it will be look like a like dadi talk, but it is not dadi talk. I am telling you, the science has told that in your 9 months, if you take care of your food, proper food, then your baby will become more strong, and the first impression and first interface with the food with that 9 months, and the gut quality what you be giving to your baby in future is all about your what food you are eating, and some
Even
food
today,
will.
they're talking, even, sorry to interrupt you, but they're talking about even preconception, that even when you
Huh?
know you are wanting to conceive and have a baby, the nutrition of the mother and the father, not only the mother, but also the father becomes very,
i
very
will I will
important.
answer this, but yes, I
And I'm
absolutely I
so
have.
happy that today gynecologists are focusing on it. When they go and meet the gynecologist, they are actually talking about it and more emphasizing it to the man as well. That
No,
you
it is
need
a
to eat
two-way. It
healthy.
is a because gut is nothing but the microbes, and microbes, if you want to keep live, you need to. So we know probiotic,
Yes,
prebiotic.
yes. We did a session on that just now.
So On this probiotic prebiotic, the gut health, if you want a strong gut health, you should be not eating something will kill your microbes which are
Right.
present, and you don't want that to give. If you want to give a baby bank balance, a good bank balance with the good microbes, then you should be eating those, no? So it is very
Absolutely.
important. And it is not about mother alone, huh? It is a family food, because mother will
Family.
not eat something which family, so you have to be part of the family ecosystem. So आपके घर में भी वैसे खाना आना चाहिए उस 9 month में कि father also, sister also, brother also should be eating the same food, which she will not feel like I am on the separate diet. It should be part
Exactly.
and
And
parcel.
we always tell families, because today it's very difficult also. I mean, women are also working. It's not possible to cook separately. We always tell everybody to eat the same food, and that way the entire family gets healthy. And now, my last question. I know I can't keep you too long away
No, no,
from
no. It's
your work.
actually so interesting, and the way
I
you
mean,
are
it's
asking the
lovely. I
question,
think
the
we can
topic
keep
which you are
talking on
touching.
this. There's so much, to talk on it. And I'm definitely going to call you again for another session and we'll discuss more about all our traditional foods. My last question is, we're talking about hygiene when it comes to food safety in the modern era. But Indian tradition always emphasizes on purity. So, what is the difference between hygiene, purity, and what is the scientific basis on it?
Thank you, Cheryl, for asking this question. This is very important. And I, being a food scientist and also the certified HACCP auditor, ISO 22000 auditor, and I understand the hygiene part very well. FSSI emphasize on Schedule 4. So, hygiene things which you need to take care during preparation, during raw material handling, during storage, very, very important.
Right.
And if you remember, first I will address the hygiene part and then to the purity part. If you remember olden days, when you used to go to your your native or your granny or your dadi, nani, they were not allowing you to come into the house unless you remove your chappal. That was
Correct.
our custom.
True.
Even if you go to Nagpur and my place today, my father will say, "Okay, remove the chappal outside, clean your feet, then come inside." This is a hygiene part which we have been talking thousands of years. COVID taught us the same thing. COVID said that now outsider is outsider because you are bringing some kida or some
Correct.
virus which is not acceptable. So hygiene is important. But one step ahead, which today science is now struggling. Again, there are theories to it. Again, it is not been accepted completely by the mainstream science, but slowly and slowly it is voicing. And the it is getting published, so I will also give you the examples. And but in last 10 years, when I'm observing some of the journals in Russia, some of the journals in France and German peoples, they are accepting and they are doing a lot of research on the subject called quantum biology. Quantum biology is a subject, is like a metaphysics, the particles. So what they believe that any food has the water inside. Naturally food contains water, and anything from 5% to 90% the food contains water. Water has the particles inside, and this particle will get charged with any kind of energy. You keep the food in the microwave, it will get, and my PhD work is on the microwave, so I have seen those in the camera also, actually in the reality. When the microwaves, which are electromagnetic waves, passes through the food, means water H2O, it's a dipole moment, get oscillated and the heat get generated. That is the function of microwave. What quantum biology, which is a metaphysics part of the biology, says that the particle inside the water get activated with your thought process,
Right.
and that thought process is impure, or that thought process not pure, or that thought process is something in a bad mood, the water will have that activity. And there are some research, and that is actually published in Appetite 2017, Appetite 2021. Actually the meta-analysis also on this, that particles in the water get activated positively or otherwise, and that has a memory, and that memory will be lasting, and the food which you will eat otherwise will also have some impact on your body. But as I said, mainstream science has not accepted completely, but they are starting talking about the good and bad.
Right.
There are much research happened in US which talks about music therapy while doing the food. If you put a music and the person who is cooking the food is in the good mood, food will taste better.
Right.
देखो अपने घर में मदर, I lost my mother, but I remember उसके हाथ की जो दाल होती थी बढ़िया होती थी. इवन प्राची विल से कि क्या मेरे हाथ की दाल अच्छी नहीं है, क्या उसके भी दाल अच्छी, बट उसके मदर की दाल, हाथ की दाल, same proportion probably, but the what touch mother used to
Yeah,
bring,
that's so true.
again it is the emotion, and water has the memory, and Ayurveda also has talked about it. Now this quantum biology is the subject, you can google it, quantum biology, metaphysics, metabiology, talking about the particles which has activation and it has a power to get activated. Now with the chanting of the mantra, activated positively. Even if you go and आप चर्च में जाते हो एंड चैंटिंग करते हो और उसका पानी भी अगर इफ यू टेक, दैट बिकम द
Absolutely.
पावरफुल हीलिंग वाटर. यार, इट इज नॉट अबाउट ओनली वाटर, इट हैज बिकम a healing water.
Yeah.
When
That's
I'm
why we
not
have
going,
now we have that Amrut Jal.
I
In
know
Christianity we have holy water. That
holy water,
Easter
but
ke Sunday pe, they pray and then that water is distributed to everyone's houses.
so it has a power.
Yeah,
But this theory, again coming to the purity, purity is not about only, I'm talking about the food safety. Purity is beyond the food safety. If
correct.
you are clean internally, your thought process is clean. The
Absolutely.
food which you prepare, probability of accepting that food, to why the taste get developed here, it is not about masala. Some people have a different taste and they give, because might be their thinking process, they want to feed you with love, affection, respect. Their food tastes well, and
Absolutely.
that is the experimentation also is proven in US. And that's why the purity of the mind is important. See, nowadays also, when you go to the any of the crowded place, you get attracted, or you start liking, or you start respecting, or you want to talk to someone, but you don't want to talk to someone. Absolutely, even if your husband or your brother or your father says, "नहीं से बात करो," यार, I'm not interested. What is that reason? You don't know the reason, but it is all about
That
the
vibe.
vibes. We call it the vibes. So the food also has the same vibes,
Same
and that
vibes.
vibes you get attracted, and that attraction of the food start with the eyes,
Correct.
emotion. Because if you feed the food, taste is the last one, but
Right. It's a
color,
visually appealing. I think
appealing.
that's what we talk about today. Make the plate look colorful. You like make it look visually appealing because we eat with our eyes first. And like you
No, but I'm
rightly
telling
said,
you,
I worked very closely with Brahma Kumaris.
yeah.
And you see their food, there's no onion, there's no garlic, very simple. They don't even use so much masala, but it's so tasty. And they believe in this whole thing, how you cook and serve. I think that
We
adds
have to
a
do some
lot of.
research on this. I am absolutely not under Shraddhi. I am not, absolutely not. I am a scientist by core, but it doesn't mean that the tradition has to be blamed saying that you don't have science, because I am having inability to prove it. I
Correct.
go to BAPS, Swaminarayan Temple. We have developed a khichdi, 250-year-old khichdi recipe. And whenever I go to Swaminarayan, I always make sure that while evening, I will have a khichdi and the food there. They don't use onion, garlic, as you rightly said, but their food taste is such
It's
a
amazing.
great taste. I cannot express that. And why? Because they prepare that food in that kind of
Aura.
atmosphere. Probably
Absolutely.
something is going, and as I said, the metaphysics, the quantum biology, which activates the water particle inside the food and gives me that. It might be decoding. Somebody is researching on that, but time will come. And all the Jainism, Buddhism, Christianity, everybody is talking about this, that you need to
Absolutely.
in the good atmosphere. That is one sure. And Dr. Joshi also always says that while eating the food, you need to be calm, you need to keep your
Eat
mobile
mindfully.
away,
Chew
you
your
should
food
not be
well.
irritated. Why? It's all about food get accepted. That's the
Absolutely.
purity. That's
True.
the purity.
You said you did your PhD on microwave, right? That's another question. I don't know whether it's the right time to ask you, but lot of people say that microwave cooking causes cancer. Is that true?
Okay, great question. And let me tell you, uh, it has a two part to it. Um, yes, also, and no, also. First, I will say yes. Microwaves are dangerous waves if it is exposed directly to humankind. The way I will answer this, electricity. Everybody is using the electricity. There's electricity. But if you touch electricity by your, I want to see where is the electricity. I want to touch. You will get shocked. It is dangerous to you. Should I say this is dangerous to me? So, absolutely it is a protected electricity passing through the bulb, not touching to me, it is safe. Microwave, inside the microwave is absolutely safe. Absolutely safe. If you put your finger into the microwave and then put it where the microwave, it is a dangerous to you. So microwave at that frequency, and I think it's 2400 mh, that particular frequency is absolutely safe frequency. And by the way, government do not allow to use any other frequency, because everything has its own frequency, even x-rays. Microwaves are the sister of the x-ray only, or when you go to the medical you will get exposed to the x-ray. You cannot avoid that. So every wavelength has its own frequency, and government has allowed some wavelength which are in allowable band.
Right.
Ultraviolet is also the
And
some
same
wavelength.
applies to your air fryers because now we have air fryers as well.
No, I'm telling you, these are the scientific evaluation. The question, if you ask me, how much food I should be eating in the micro and how much cooking, and Abhi, I went to my village and Chinmay also came, and we cooked on the chulha,
Yeah,
and the smoke and the open, that food, it has actually tempted me to eat more, and digestion was also good because I could smell something. In microwave, you miss out that.
exactly. So you
So
don't cook everything. You don't, like they say,
safety,
don't abuse the
use
use of
safety,
it.
no problem. But if I have 2 minutes and I have to cook it fast, micro is the best example. But every time there is no 2 minute. Na? You
Correct.
cannot take bath in 2 minutes. Come on.
Absolutely.
You have to take your proper bath. So microwave per se, safety, no problem. But you should know how much to use it, where to use it. I think all this technology is like a mobile phone. How much to use is, if I use 16
How
hours a
much
day,
damage is that causing? We don't know, but we are all with it, right? All the time, 24 by 7.
I think it's all about our understanding and acceptance. You should not become like their servant. They should be
Correct.
your servant. All the
Absolutely.
technologies are your servant.
Very well
And you
said.
should have a natural intelligence to use them, not artificial intelligence they are using.
Natural stupidity.
Natural stupidity. It's very,
I
very
think
important.
we had such a wonderful discussion. I can't tell you, we can go on, and I could listen to you all day. But thank you so much for taking out time. And it's been such an insightful discussion, so many learnings and so many myths that you busted as well. I think, our audience is going to be very, very happy after hearing this session.
I have a
It'll be like,
small
ye dil
request.
mange mo.
Yeah, I have a small request because you are such an influencing personality, Cheryl. You are in the nutritionists, dietitians, and medicos, especially. I think we need to have a harmony with all of us, because
Absolutely.
that will make our India and that will make our food culture strong. Today, we are working in isolation. There are very few
All
doctors who
science.
understand the nutrition, who respect the nutrition, or who respect the food science. There are only few food scientists who respect the medical. So, I think it is a time to come together and
All
work
about
in holistic.
integrative. It's about coming together. And that's the reason also, you see, I'm traveling most weekends doing conferences. The only reason is because I feel if I can reach out to the medicos, to the doctors, they in turn will reach out to their patients because patients still believe them when it comes to anything, it's the gospel truth for them. And that way, at least the right information is going because honestly, doctors don't really study nutrition science, maybe a few
I think
things
they
and
are
they
smart.
themselves are unaware, so when we are able to reach out to them, so what I've started doing now is also sending them these links of our conversations, and it's amazing, they just love it because they can now be more confident when they are talking to their patients, but
I
these are
think
questions that we are discussing which is often asked. So I think time for all of us to get together and, as they say, getting back ancient wisdom, whether it is food or anything, culture, etc., back into this modern era. And I think that is something that we all are striving to achieve. And hopefully, with this small initiative of ours, we will be able to at least make some kind of a beginning somewhere.
I I want to thanks to you for bringing such a interesting 1 hour talk. I actually now just saw the time and it's 1 hour already. So really thank you, Cheryl, for actually giving this opportunity. And also want to put one disclaimer. All the talk, whatever we have said, are for not commercial. They
Absolutely.
are the part of our wisdom, and we do not want to undermine or any intent of doing something in our process. If anything has said, so absolutely it is only for the awareness,
Yes,
education, and intents are
absolutely.
very pure, as you rightly said.
Right. So thank you so much, and I will definitely call you once again because
Yeah,
as
there
we
are
say
so
in
many
this Mangue
topics
mode, we want
about.
to hear more of you from
Yes,
you.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So
yes.
thank you very
And
much.
you are such a wonderful host. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.
Thank you.